Now, Professor Rajeev Gowda.
So it gives me great joy to speak on the Institutes of Technology Amendment Bill 2016, because in this bill there is a gift to the state of Karnataka. A new IIT is going to be established in the city of Dharwad. So Karnataka is already the education hub of the country, and we have more than 100 years ago established the Indian Institute of Science by a far-thinking Maharaja of Mysore and Swami Vivekananda's inspiration and the contribution of the Tatas, Jamshedji Tata. We also have an Indian Institute of Management in Bangalore. And now we have a 100-year-old Mysore University where our chairman had recently gone. Now we have one more jewel in Karnataka's educational crown in Dharwad, an Indian Institute of Technology. Dharwad is a wonderful place to have this kind of an institution, sir. It is a hub of culture. We have had many Bharat Ratnas and outstanding musicians from Dharwad, Bhimsen Joshi, Gangubai Hangal, Mallikarjun Mansoor, Kumar Gandharv. They're all singers from Dharwad. We have outstanding literators, Dara Bendre, Girish Karnad, even outstanding entrepreneurs, Gururaj Deshpande and Nandan Nilekani. So this is a very good choice, the city of Dharwad, and we can see that Karnataka is going to do justice to the vision of the country in establishing an IIT right there. This vision, though, is not something new. We go back to Jawharlal Nehru. At a time when the country still had to deal with illiteracy and poverty, he had the foresight and vision to say that we will set up institutes of national excellence in technology to create a cadre of engineers, people who will go out there and help India become self-sufficient in engineering talent, to be world-class in our abilities to build the infrastructure that we need to build the temples of modern India. So this is the second or third wave of new IITs that are being established. The first wave was set up with help with collaboration with Germany, with the UK, with the USA, and with Russia in a true spirit of non-alignment. Then we had a couple more waves, including during the UPA regime. So there was also, when the Assam Accord was signed, we had, as part of that settlement, a contribution, an insistence from the contribution to Assam in the form of IIT Guwahati. So it tells you the importance of IITs in terms of the ability to make a difference to the states where they are established. So, but for these institutions to make a difference, they need to be well funded. The amount of infrastructure that they need, the amount of investment that they need must be put up front by the government and assured for a period of time, because these institutions don't become world-class overnight. And that is something that you must pay attention to, Mr. Minister, because we cannot build these new institutions on the backs, by breaking the backs of students, by burdening them with heavy loans, by ensuring that they have to bear the burden that the government should be bearing in the first place. So these are investments of the country in various cities, in various locations. They are investments in transforming the economy of the region in which they are established. And therefore, these institutions should not build high walls around them. They should instead engage with the city that they're in, with the communities that they're part of. And for that, I mean, we not only have to encourage these institutions to focus on teaching and research, but they also need to promote entrepreneurship. They also need to promote scientific culture by becoming the hub of discussions and debates and conferences and things that are open to the entire community and not only to the students of their own institution. And they should serve the policy interests of the state that they're located in by harnessing their expertise and talent towards the issues that matter to the local communities, to the local states. I mentioned research. If you look at the number of institutions that have been ranked in the top 200 from India, it is a very sorry state of affairs that we discover that there are only a couple in the top 200, one of which happens to be an IIT, IIT Delhi. We have an alumnus, Jayant Sinha, right here, who has recently flown from one ministry to the other. We have another alumnus of IIT Mumbai right here, Jairam Ramesh. Manohar Parikar was here in the morning. He's also an IIT alumnus. We have so many IITians here. And we can ask them, what happened? Well, how come we don't have more of your institutions in the top ranks? And the answer will be that the ranking system pays a lot of attention to research productivity. The IITs, in their approach, have focused significantly on teaching the best and brightest minds who are interested in engineering and mathematics and science. There are many other minds who are interested in the arts and economics. Let me point that out as well. Anyway, the point is, if we want to open our doors to the world, and say we have the best institutions, then we have to have the research quality that also beckons the world to say, we want to come here and work. We want to work on the problems and issues that matter to India. One of the management gurus that India gave to the world, C.K. Prahalad, basically talked about the fortune at the bottom of the pyramid. He said, India has its own challenges, but India can also have its own solutions. And that is something that the IITs also need to imbibe, that spirit that we have issues here, that we can pay attention and we have the talent to go out there and address them. And those solutions can be so cost effective and such breakthroughs that they make a difference, that they can really change the economy of the world in numerous ways. Research is not only a matter of putting up buildings, it is about creating a culture of creativity and innovation. This is going to happen through the establishment of other kinds of infrastructure, the resources to faculty, for them to publish in journals, for them to go to conferences, for them to host and train youngsters in how to do research in the best possible manner. Along with that, we need government grants that people can compete for, so that the best ideas. In the United States, you have something called the National Science Foundation, which conducts competitions all the time and allows ideas to bubble up from the faculty themselves, chooses the best, funds them, invests in them. Doesn't matter whether they are applied research or pure research, but cutting-edge ideas are rewarded with resources so that people can pursue them in substantial detail. So that kind of investment in the larger infrastructure needed for research is of primary importance, and it is not going to happen by just establishing rankings, by insisting on research productivity or saying publish or perish. You have to create that culture. To create that culture of research, we have to engage with the best in the world and have the best in the world also come to engage with us. Now, they will come and do that when there is a certain amount of autonomy in these institutions, when the faculty are given that responsibility, that you have faith in them to say, you are professionals, you are good teachers, you will be good researchers, you will be good administrators. We trust you to run this institution in the best possible manner. You make those decisions yourself. We will set certain larger guidelines on how many people we need to see educated there. We would reward you for more research productivity, but don't interfere in the nitty-gritty of academic decision-making. Set the vision, have the engagement on the boards, but let the institutions compete amongst themselves, compete on the global stage, and demonstrate how good they can be. So, at the same time, when I talk about autonomy, I also worry about other issues. Recently, the government has had a record of interfering in the institutes of technology, in the students and their ability to have their own discussions and their own organizations. The lesson that comes to mind is that of the Ambedkar Periyar Study Circle in IIT Chennai, which was interfered with. I would urge you, just like you do not interfere with their research agendas, do not interfere with the freedom of expression on campus. Let those campuses be beacons of debate and dissent and discussion so that the students can be exposed to multiple points of view. When we think about that particular organization, we think about the fact that reservations have always been there or have been there in IITs for a long time. But substantially, there is a lot of concern about whether reservations have worked very well, whether the faculty, the posts that have been reserved for Dalits and tribals have been filled at all, whether the students are able to come out at the same level of excellence that we should be expecting and we should be investing in. That is also a matter of concern. So, I talked about resources needed to build these new institutions. When you think about resources, I also think about the fact that the human resources that we created out of these IITs. For many years, for many decades, we used to talk about the brain drain. about the people that the government of India would spend money on. And these youngsters would go to foreign lands to work there, to study there, and to basically, they would have a better work culture, a better research culture out there. And we would worry that that brain drain is really costing India a whole generation of talent. Yes, to some extent that has happened. But just like Jayant and Jairam and many others have come back to India, many others have also made some of them have come back to India, but many more have gone on to Silicon Valley, have gone on to create new institutions, have gone on to be entrepreneurs who have contributed back to India in multiple ways. They have become the role models to Indians, to students here who now, in my home city of Bangalore, the startup capital of India, youngsters have the confidence that they too can go out there and set up new companies. Because earlier, while they used to only think about getting a job, today they can think about breakthroughs and becoming job creators and becoming entrepreneurs on a global scale. That is one of the contributions of not only homegrown entrepreneurs in Bangalore, but of the IITians who went abroad and have made a difference in Silicon Valley and Wall Street and elsewhere. Many of them have wanted to invest back, give back to the IITs to the endowments. But in the previous NDA regime, when there was an opportunity to tap this kind of resource, what happened? There was a lot of government interference. The government said, we will decide, we will create a course into which every one of you can contribute, and we will decide how that is going to be spent and how not. And that immediately turned off the tap and ensured that no more contributions would come to India. That has to change. We need to reach out to the alumni of these institutions and say, come, contribute back to your alma maters and rebuild these institutions that need strengthening. Create new institutions, set up chairs, do various other things. And for that, we need to allow endowments with freedom and flexibility for institution building. So, I want to talk about the future. We call these institutions of national importance, and they are, at this moment, institutes of technology. There are institutes of world class which also have the same last two names, Institute of Technology. How do we become like that? We become like that partly by focusing on research, partly by focusing on creativity and innovation. But when you think about the pipeline of students coming into IITs, to a significant extent, they're coming in from coaching shops in Kota or someplace like that, where they're being drilled and their thinking and their creativity is being hammered out of them. We are getting automatons who are coming into the IITs, and we need to change that culture. We need to ensure that creativity is central to that examination, to identifying talent, and to making a difference as those institutions grow. And for that, we also need to go beyond just technology and engineering courses. We need to add humanities. We need to bridge the two cultures that was talked about decades ago. And essentially, we need to create well-rounded technologists who understand the needs of the country, understand the complexities of society, and understand what it takes to be innovators in a true sense. So, the Indian word for university is Vishwavidyalaya. We could be the Vidyalaya of the Vishwa. We could be the education hub of the world. For that, we have to break open our barriers, we have to open our doors, we have to ensure that we have the systems in place to encourage our talent, that we bring in foreign students and foreign faculty to engage with ours, and vice versa. We need to have a vision for the future where these become not teaching shops, but truly institutions of national importance that are transforming Indian technology, Indian society, and India's economy going forward. Thank you very much. I support this bill.
Thank you. Now, Sri